We're going live.
All right.
Okay. Let me know when we are live, Archana.
Already live. You're already live.
We are live.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. My name is Akshata, and I am the moderator of this YouTube channel called Clan Career Convo. It is India's first and probably the only channel that has complete career conversations, complete job conversations. We take questions from you people and TMD answers them. What gives him the right to answer it? Because he's been in the business of recruitment. He's been in the business for 31 years. He's been a recruiter. He's seen about 5 to 6 lakh CVs. He's recruited about 3 lakh people. So before we start, I want to tell you a little about TMD. He is the founder chairman of a company called TMI Group. It's a 31-year-old company. He is also an author of 2 best-selling books. One is called An Expert's Guide to Your Right First Job, and the second one is called 101 Jobs for MBAs and Graduates. Not only this, but he is also a lawyer now. He is a columnist. He's answered more than 1 lakh queries in the Hindu Opportunities newspaper. Right. So this is our 4th resume live session. And from the previous sessions, if I had to recap, we have discussed about what kind of information is a recruiter looking for, what kind of information is a recruiter not looking for in a resume. Right. So I invite TMD on board and request him to share some tips, and then we will start reviewing your resumes. Over to you, TMD.
Thank you, Akshita. I'm going to share my screen to get some common understanding. Okay, one of the biggest challenges, it's very people don't understand. Before I give this facts about the resume and how important resume is, I want to share it with you very shortly. A small meeting I had with SBI. SBI, as you know, is one of the largest banks in India, the banker to the government of India. And day before yesterday, I was in Mumbai talking to a very senior level group in SBI. Their idea is to hire about 10,000 people for one of their new subsidiaries they are starting, which is going to be in a staffing role. And there were a lot of conversations about young people today. What's the biggest challenge for the younger people today? And my answer was that the biggest challenge for young people is the variety of jobs available in the job market have become very wide. And therefore, people are confused as to what job they should apply. And therefore, the most logical thing they do is find out what their neighbor is doing, what their classmate is doing, and therefore they apply. And that has been the single most reason why many of the young people have lost their jobs in the first 6 months, 9 months, or suddenly discovered they're not happy with their jobs and they quit. So to me, you have to find the right first job. And very successful people, CEOs of companies, CXOs of companies, learn that secret by experience, that get your first job right, you take off in life. But to get the right first job, apart from finding out what are you good at, what kind of job you need to apply, once you figure out what is the right job for you, you still have to get it. To get that, the resume and the covering letter plays a very crucial role. So we're going to talk about the importance of the resume. And I want to start with a scenario. Now imagine there is a group of people who are sitting there. You were not able to go there. And you send a small document called a resume. And the resume has to speak to them, quote unquote, speak to them. What does it mean? The resume should be able to say something about you as if you're talking to those people and trying to convince them of something. What are you trying to convince? Obviously, you're applying for a job. Your natural question is, how suitable are you for the job? And therefore, the resume is your ambassador to a specific prospective employer. And the resume is trying to speak on your behalf. That's why I use the word ambassador. Ambassador is in a country, for example, ambassador of America, US in India, is a representative of US in India. So we want to say something to America, we will call the ambassador and speak to him, and the ambassador will speak on behalf of the American republic or a country called America. The resume and the covering letter is a very, very, very important role. And I gave an example last time that imagine again, there are 1 lakh people applying for a job. Some of the positions which we are recruiting, the number of people who apply are huge. For example, IT industry, people apply for jobs in thousands and thousands. Now, when you have thousands and thousands of job applicants, the person who is deciding, somebody is sitting the other side and deciding to throw it on the left or on the right. You throw it on the left means it's a reject. You throw it on the right means I'm shortlisting you for further discussion with you. Now, the whole thing happens in your absence. The CV is going to go on the left or right, depending on what you write inside. This is the most important thing we have to understand. Many of the young people think that people have all the time in the world to read it. They will figure out what you want to say, and they will try and give you a break. Nobody is in the business of giving you a break. You have to go and get it yourself. And therefore, the resume is the most important document that's in your hand. And therefore, when we talk about today, I would encourage people who are listening to it to take notes, and later on, if the recording is available, you can go back to the recording and listen to it carefully. But what I'm saying will make a difference in your life. It can change your complete career, because if you get the right job based on the right resume that you write, naturally your life changes forever. So please take it as the most important task of the day. And we're going to start off by talking about in the presentation what works in a resume, what doesn't work in a resume, and why something works, and the 6-step resume writing process. These are the 4 things I'm going to cover. Number 1, this graph, this physical picture is a beautiful representation of what you think you're doing and what the other person sees you. In other words, when we try, and the Eiffel Tower on the left is one of the one of the 8 wonders of the world. And when you write a resume, you think you are writing a resume so that people will see you as something like a Eiffel Tower. But in reality, what the resume depicts is on the right, which is basically a transmission line tower. It transmits electricity, high voltage electricity from one point to another. There's nothing unique about it. There are millions of such transmission towers, but Eiffel Tower is only one. Therefore, many times you think you're writing something great, but actually you have to ask yourself the question, how others will see the resume. And that's what we are going to discuss today. It is not about what you think about the resume, what the other person who's reviewing you, whether he's going to see your resume as an Eiffel Tower or a transmission tower. This is the question. Now, there was an experiment conducted in psychology in Stanford University, and basically they asked people to listen to something. One set of people were asked to listen and then tap something on the table. And the other set of people had to guess what the tune was. And very simple tune. We play Happy Birthday to You, Jingle Bells. All of us have heard this song so many times in our life. So the guy who was listening to Happy Birthday to You was tapping. Tapping means he's on the table, he's doing tapping, and the other guy was supposed to guess, but only 2.5% of the people who listened to the tapping could guess it is Happy Birthday to You or Jingle Bells. And they asked the question, how come it's such an obviously well-known tune? And the guy who tapped it, thought he did a fantastic job. But the other guy said, no, I can't guess what you're typing. And this is what is called our biggest problem of life is we have something in our mind, but what we express in the form of tapping or in the form of resume is very different from what you have in mind. So you have to understand that what you think is not important, what you write, how do you present yourself is important. Otherwise, people will not understand what are you trying to do, right? So these are some of the things, top 4 or 5 things you should know. Obviously, most of the young people today, there are only 2 options. You go online and fill up a form. Company gives you a link, or you send an email with a covering letter. And still, even today, large number of people at middle level and senior level only send by email. At an entry level, some percentage of people are doing by email, and some of them are fill up with the online form. The most important thing people look for is resume. Look at the bottom one. The first thing anybody looks for is, do you have a relevant experience for the job you are applying? By far, this is the most important thing I as a recruiter am looking for. Now, if that experience is not relevant or it is not coming out in the resume, it will go on the left-hand side. It will not go on the right. The first thing is you have to know what the job you're applying for. You have to know what does the relevant experience mean, and find out how do you represent in your resume that you have the relevant experience. That's point number one. Second thing they're looking for is relevant qualification. If you're applying for an IT job and if you are something else, then you need to establish that I have the relevant qualification, certification required to apply for the job. If you don't have the relevant qualification, you're going on the left-hand side. And the third and fourth are very, very important, especially if you don't have relevant experience and relevant qualification, your part qualification. Then most important thing is, where did you study? You studied to a good school, good college, please highlight it. It carries a lot of weightage. And also the top 5 accomplishments, whatever you've done in college or in privately in your last job, please highlight it. Now, what are the complaints people say about the resume? Typographical error, unacceptable, lack of related or unrelated experience. So, for example, if you write any experience that you want, which is not related to it, please cut it out. People say that they don't want to read such resume. These are the complaints people have about resume. Unprofessional looking. I said this is very important. The first look of the resume, the font that you use, the kind of colors that you use, the kind of spacing that you do should look like a professional resume. Now, what is it? Most important thing, don't do cut and paste resume. Anybody who does a cut and paste resume, we can make out very quickly, right? We'll discuss some of them later on. For example, lack of unclear objective. What are you trying to apply for, etc. Some of them are also some of the mistakes people do. So I would say that some of the most important thing in the order of importance, look and feel. First, it should look nice. Second, size of the resume. Don't make it, even if you are an expert, first 5 years of experience, not more than 2 pages. For a fresher, not more than 1 to 1.5 pages. 1.5 pages is upper limit. The time to read the resume is the criterion. I should be able to scan the resume, quickly grasp what you are saying in less than 10 to 15 seconds. That's all the time you're going to get. So in that, assuming the other person reads your resume in 15 seconds, what are you going to tell him? How are you going to tell him what's important? The important points highlight using font. When I say font, means sometimes boldface, sometimes color, and do a proper self-introduction. This is what I said. Resume should speak to me. I am looking at a resume and you should say, who am I? What am I today? And what did I, education highlights, chronological listing. All these are something known to many of you in this room. And I'll demonstrate it during the review of whether we are doing some of this or not. But I think it's important to look at all these points, and then later on, when you look at your resume later on, self-review you can do after this 1 hour session with me. You go back and rewrite the resume based on some of the guidelines I'm telling you about. These are the most important things which come to resume about who are you, how do you become what you are, career objective. But I will skip to all of them into, finally, this is the last slide I want to talk about. What can the resume do for you? Resume cannot get you the job. Please understand that. Resume can take you to the next step. That's all. But that's the very critical funnel. For every 100 people who apply, not more than 10 people will be shortlisted to the next round. You have to be in the 10 among the, should be in the 10, not in the 90. So the resume helps you to be, resume or the online form that you fill up helps you to be in the top 10, right, among the 100 people. Secondly, during the interview, the resume becomes the primary document on which people ask you questions. So don't write in the resume anything which you don't want to say about yourself, something you're not confident about. A lot of people write things in the resume and suddenly ask you a few questions, and you come back and say, sorry, sir, I don't know this. One of the persons I interviewed some time ago, I asked him, I'm a book reader, avid book reader. I read a lot of books. So I asked him, what is the last book you read? He doesn't remember the name of the book he read. Then you're writing something in the resume, which you're not reading books. Somebody told you to write books. You wrote it. So I think this is important. So ultimately, resume will speak for you in your absence. It has to deliver an effective message, simple, accurate, and complete. This is the key words. SAC, simple, accurate, and complete. And in a persuasive manner. You say it in a nice way so that the person puts the resume on the right. I'll stop here and then we'll go on to the main session. Over to you, Akshita.
Thank you so much, TMD. That PPT actually is really insightful, and I hope people use it to the best of their advantage. This is just an FYI for everybody. What we can do is get TMD to spend time on your resumes, and he tells you how to correct it. But if you don't go back and correct it, then you're not going to get the full advantage of this session. That being said, I request Siddharth KS to unmute himself, and we'll be reviewing your resume first. Siddharth, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you see my screen, TMD?
Yes, ma'am, I can.
Yeah, okay. Over to you, sir.
Yeah. So I think the first thing I see about Siddharth's videos, can you make it bigger? I think it's some of them eaten away, or you have to scroll it. Oh, yeah. Can you make it full? I don't know why it's not full screen for me. Let me see. Okay. See, the first thing I want to tell Siddharth, you have said very clearly a mechanical engineering student, right? So you are applying
Yes.
for a job in which industry? What's your purpose of this resume?
In mechanical domain itself.
So you're not looking for an IT job, right?
No, sir.
All right, good. That's a good starting point. So I think this is a professional summary. Let me go and say that, for example, your address and telephone number and etc. etc. It's taking. I told you the first 15 seconds I'm going to read it, right? The first 15 seconds, that address and telephone number is not very important for me to assess to put your resume at the left or right. So what I will do, I'll take it out and put it in the bottom. I'll start with my professional summary. Okay, your layout is very good, clean. I like it. It's on the gray on the left. On the right hand side, you have a white and a professional summary. Right now, a highly organized, dedicated person with a positive attitude to work under any circumstances, has the capabilities to handle people and maintain good relationships, realistic, innovative, creative, honest, and flexible. There's something most important thing which you must say in this, which you have missed out, right? You said you're applying for a mechanical engineering job, right?
Yeah.
So what would you say in that to bring out that point that you have? What's the most important thing you will say there? See, today, most of the engineering guys are applying for IT job, right?
Yes, sir.
In your college, where are you studying from?
Mangalore Institute of Technology and Engineering.
All right. So how does the college, most of the people are applying for what type of job?
Like mainly all have applied for IT as their first experience, but then people are still looking into their mechanical domain.
Yeah, they're looking, but everybody today believes, see, for example, if I want to say I'm a mechanical engineer, the first thing I will say, I have an engineering mindset. You know what engineering mindset is, right? There's a difference between a management mindset and engineering mindset. An engineering mindset is to look at everything from a scientific point of view. There is a cause and effect. You must have learned a lot of theorems and algorithms and also a lot of formula, right? So most important thing in engineering mindset is not what happens, but why something happens, right? Are you understanding what I'm saying? That's called engineering. Engineering means you explain a behavior, right? You did mechanical engineering, you must have done a lot of things in, let's say, fluid mechanics course, right? The fluid mechanics course, there are a lot of discussions on why does fluid behave in a certain way? How do you correlate velocity with the diameter of the pipe, etc., right? You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes, sir.
So if you want a mechanical engineering job, in the professional summary, I will have to say that I am I have a high level of engineering mindset and I'm very actively looking for a mechanical engineering job. See, many people look for mechanical engineering job because they can't get an IT job. That is not the type with you, right?
No, sir.
You want to genuinely interested in mechanics. That should come out in the professional summary because people read that first. Okay?
Yeah, okay, sir.
So second part is the technical skills. Yes, I think it's come out really well. You're talking about 2D, 3D modeling. Now, if you put so many things below. I can see write and Python programmer, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Are you equally proficient in all of them?
What's up?
Are you equally strong in all of them? There are more than
No, sir. Like few of things I have basic knowledge, but then few I have deeply gone into it.
yeah. So this is very, very important. That's what I said earlier. Supposing you write something here, I ask you a question on that. For example, Java programming, and you don't know the answer to Java programming. The question I ask you, what will happen to you?
Yeah, it will give a negative impression.
You're out. Nobody gives you more than second or third chance. So never put in anything on the resume which you are not on the top. I gave you an example of book reading, right?
Okay, yeah.
So you need to separate the technical skills. You are still a campus student, right? You're not going to be a PhD student. Pick up only 3 or 4 or 5 which you think is very top of the line. They ask you any questions like Rob CAD, you mentioned them. If somebody asks you questions on what tool you use, how do you use it, you should be able to elaborate in great detail.
Yeah.
Okay, so first reduce this off the cuff. My first feeling is you're talking too much. That's the feeling I get by too many things on technical stuff.
Yeah.
The second part is I would say that on the left hand side you mentioned about all your internship, which is good, but it is June to August. There are only 2 months of internship, and again there is a Allied Technology Group September to October. So internships are not extremely important. Please understand. It only gives you an indication. But internship, you are doing 1 month or 2 months. What will you learn in internship? Supposing I asked you, Allied Technologies, right? You are basically an online internship here. Okay, you may not. Do you remember what you did? Can I ask you that? What did you achieve? What did you learn when you were in Allied Technology Group? What did you do? Technology.
It was the internship was on about fundamentals of vehicle dynamics. So it deals with all the basic moving parts in a vehicle that includes the steering, suspension part, and all the steering mostly the steering mechanism part. So
Right. So would you be able to, like, for example, I ask you to draw a diagram on the entire transmission system and contrast it with an electrical vehicle versus a mechanical vehicle, right? Or a internal combustion engine. Will you be able to do that?
I can try.
Not now. I'm saying please keep this in mind. Your interviewer has many people are waiting in line. You're just one of them, right? So you have to be prepared to focus on whatever you've written. Somebody asks you a question, you should be able to jump and immediately plan and show them a graph, diagram, something with you. You got it?
Yes, sir.
And they don't have time. They're not going to wait for you to remember and all that. So you only made the resume, right? So when you make the resume, every word in it has to be written by you, and you should be able to elaborate on it instantly without a timeline. Okay?
Okay, yeah.
All right, let's go down. Certifications you mentioned. Again, lot of certification. How many of the certifications are really your top of the line?
The first 4.
All right, so highlight that. Don't put something you cannot defend. Okay, I like robotic process automation, but the point is, if you don't know, if you cannot do a small program I give you to write quickly, robotic process automation, you should be able to write it on the spot, right? So please keep in mind, don't write too much in the resume, because please understand you're only a student. I would like you to write only those who are extremely good, and what you are extremely good can change depending on what you are applying for. Okay.
Yeah.
Like I'm applying for automobile industry. I will definitely highlight the fact that you did the experience in project. I will highlight the steering, whatever you talked about, that experience and apprenticeship, right?
Yeah.
So you should highlight based on the job you apply. Even in mechanical engineering, there are various kinds of jobs. It could be in a process industry. It could be in automobile industry. It could be whichever industry. So please make the resume depending on which job you are applying for. Right? For example, you said manufacturing process control. This is very useful in a company which you are applying for, a company which is mechanical job in a maintenance or in projects in a continuous process plant, right?
Yes.
There you can highlight it. But if you are applying for an automobile industry, manufacturing process control is not that critical.
Yeah.
So you'll be working only in one section of manufacturing, right? You might be in welding or you might be in paint shop. So it's important for you to change the resume for each and every job you apply for. Go to the next page. Educational background. Yeah, go down. Educational background. Current status, studying, 8th semester. Okay. Go down. 8. Pursuing undergraduate, B mechanical. At Mangalore Institute of Technology Engineering. Okay. And below that, 2016, 2018, the university. Okay, at Thrissur. All right. Now, for example, Mangalore Institute of Technology. I don't know anything about it. Can you, how big is the institute? How is it ranking locally? For example, in Karnataka or nationally, are you in some rank there? Mangalore Institute?
Yeah, it is an A+ grade NAC accredited college.
NAC aggregation is something you should highlight, number one. See, people don't know what the college is. Just because you mention the college name doesn't mean I'm supposed to know it, right?
Yeah.
Put an adjective on the college name, right?
Yes, yeah.
Similarly, I'm saying the question will come in my mind. Why did you join Bangalore? There are thousands of colleges. What's so special about joining that college? All the way from Thrissur, you went all the way from there to there. Why did you go there?
Yeah.
So you'll have to explain why the college. Maybe the college is very good in automobile or some department is very good. Some story you have to write as to why did you pick this college.
Okay, sir.
It cannot be that I didn't get anywhere else, so I went and joined. That cannot be a story, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And schooling, computer schooling in Chinmaya Vidyalaya, Thrissur. Was it English medium?
Yes, sir.
So always highlight English medium when you study.
Okay. Yeah.
There is a lot of weight in a resume. Highlighted, bolded, completed schooling in English medium at Chinmaya Vidyalaya. How well did you do in Chinmaya Vidyalaya?
Okay.
How well did you do?
Do you remember your marks or percentage from this time?
Yeah, my CG percentage grade was 8.2.
How much?
8.2 TMI.
8.2 at the Chinmaya Vidyalaya.
Yeah.
It's a relative scoring, right?
Yeah.
All right. So if it is not very, very attractive, don't mention it. But 8.2 is not a bad score. I would say that definitely Chinmaya Vidyalaya with an 8.2 score I will mention. Because it's not a bad score. I don't think it's a 10. If it is 9.5, I would definitely highlight it. See, please remember, you need to highlight everything in your favor. That's your job. And what is not in your favor, we are not confident of, remove it from the resume.
Yes,
so I would say your resume, I would definitely compliment. It's a very well drafted, clean resume. Remove that Siddharth address and take it in the bottom, right? It's not important because your eye is wasting its time looking at where are you. Like for example, last time they asked me, where are you currently? You're actually in Mangalore now, right? Not in Thrissur. That's only so there's no point putting Thrissur address. Nobody is going to send you a postal address anymore. Everything is coming by email, right? So the only thing they want to know, where are you right now? So put a Mangalore. Don't put Thrissur address. It doesn't help you.
Yes, sir.
One day they put permanent address. That's only for government of India jobs. Private sector doesn't want to know what is your permanent address at this point of time. After we join, they will fill up a form. At that time, they'll ask you permanent address. Okay.
Yes,
all right. So that's good. Any other questions you have?
No, sir. It's clear.
All right. So please rework on the resume. Stick to the one pager. I think it's a neat one. And cut down some amount of internship based on what you need to display. Right? And reduce the technical skills and certifications and add somewhere, bring out the fact that you love mechanical engineering and you want to be an engineer.
Yes, sir.
Bring it up. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Siddharth. A tip from my side, if you do the spacing of your words correctly, it will look neater than what it looks right now. So if you see here, there's an extra space over here and there is no space over here. So you could get into that as well.
Reduce some of them, auditory spacing will improve also. Space it out. But I think I would definitely give a high marks on clarity and cleanliness of your resume.
Okay, sir.
Thank you so much, Siddharth.
Thank you.
So next we will do the review of Chaitanya. Chaitanya, are you there? Can you unmute yourself, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Chaitanya. Just share my screen. Give me a minute.
Yeah, you can put your video on, Chaitanya. I can see you.
Are you? Can you come on video, Chaitanya? You're also muted now.
Ma'am, my camera is in some problem.
All right.
Okay, okay, no problem, no problem.
Tell me what job are you applying for, Chaitanya?
I'm planning to apply for a team manager in the architect area.
No, I'm not able to understand. Not audio is not coming clearly.
He's planning to apply for a team manager, is what you're saying, Chaitanya?
Yes, team manager
manager.
in the edutech industry.
In EduTech.
In edutech.
Exactly.
Okay, like Baiju kind of company.
By use and for Vedanti.
All right.
Such kind of was great learning.
Yeah. So, all right, I understand. So, in a learning tech company, which is a well-funded company, you want to be a team manager in the business development side. Correct?
Yes.
Improving. First and foremost, of course, you can reduce the width of that thick line you put in the middle. It's not required. Reduce it, but it looks neat. I like that way it's laid out. It's highly clean. So reduce the width of that. About me, creative business development manager with impressive track record of improving sales and growing company customer base, right? What is growing company customer base? What is that?
I'll just read it out, TMD. Creative Business Development Manager with impressive track record of improving sales and growing company customers base. So he is involved in improving the sales and growing the company customer base, I believe. Innovative program management, strategic planning, and team leadership skills. Successful team builder with exceptional communication abilities.
Yeah. Can I ask you something? What do you call money? The right word? What do your friends call you?
He is
Chaitanya.
Chaitanya only. All right. Chaitanya, did you write every word in this?
As of now,
Who wrote this?
What are the things I mentioned in about myself?
Yeah, about me.
Those are my complete my sentence.
Everything is your sentence, right? Every word is yours.
Yes.
Let's examine this. I'll come back to that. So first thing I will do when you're an experienced person, my first interest will be on relevant experience, right?
Yes, sir.
So I'm going to the experience directly. You mentioned 2020, presently your business development executive, and therefore earlier told your business development associate, and then the same company, right?
No, sir. I worked previously for another edutech company that was a skill. I worked for a business development associate previously, but as of now, I am working as a.
So why did you not? Why is it not mentioned? If you worked in 2018, the way it looks like you worked in the same company, you got promoted. If you worked in different company, you must mention that company name separately, right? 2018-19.
Okay. So I missed.
Yeah. Otherwise, it looks like you got promoted. So they'll ask you, did you get promoted? He said, no, I worked in some other company. See, if you mention, if you put in there, if you don't put something in the resume, they will think you're hiding something, right?
Okay. Yes.
And you said it was also a tech company, right?
Yes, sir.
So that's a relevant experience, right? So obviously, I will highlight that. The current company is an EdTech company.
This is an event management company that is related to the strategies like marketing expansions for the other companies. We will work for marketing execution, even for we are work as a expansion groups like that, eventing managers.
Yeah, but event management is not the same as EdTech marketing, correct? Event management, who's your customer?
Yes, but here the responsibilities and what are the things we are doing in the event manager, the same roles and responsibilities will be the same for EdTech also.
No, let me ask you this question. You are an event management company, right?
Yes, sir.
Whom are you marketing to? Who's your customer?
My customers is always for who is looking for the surprise events and even for such kind of families like.
You see, in an event management company, you're looking for somebody who wants to hold an event and you want to outsource it, correct? To you.
Yes, sir.
Now it's a B2B marketing, largely, right?
Yes, sir. This is a B2B process.
Yeah. So in a tech company, who is the customer? In Baiju, who is the customer of this Baiju?
In that also there is two options, sir. One is a B2C and another is a B2B process. And that is also we have to connect it directly with the customer itself, not with the students.
No, I think my question to you is that you are an expert in B2B marketing or B2C marketing, selling, B2C selling or B2B selling. What do you want to position?
B2B one. B2B, sir.
Exactly. So it's not coming up. First
Yes.
thing, go back to the top. I would say enterprise selling. That's what you are. Basically, I would say about me, go up top, go up on top. Go up on top. Yeah. So basically, a creative business development manager with proven record of improving sales and growing company customer base. Basically, you have to say, I am an expert or I'm very deeply interested in enterprise selling or B2B selling. If you're applying for a B2B, because if Baiju gives you a B2C job, you may not want to do it, right? You know what a B2C job is. It's making phone calls. They end up making about 30 to 40 calls a day. The potential parents of the people who are likely children to join Baiju, right? Is that what you want to do?
Chaitanya, are you interested in B2C sales as well?
No, ma'am. I preferred only the B2B category.
Exactly. So please bring that fact that you are interested only in enterprise selling or B2B selling. Should come out very clearly. Okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Second part is I have an impressive track record of improving sales. Now let's go down and see both in Arson Events and Marketing Private Limited, as well as in the previous job, you not put any statistics as to what did you achieve. You said impressive track record. That you achieved your sales in first 3 months. You achieved 3 times my salary. I increased my sales by 50%. Some number and statistics must come to establish that you have an impressive track record. Just making a statement, impressive track record doesn't help you. You understand that? Hello?
Chaitanya, can you hear us?
Hello.
Can you hear us?
Is my voice is audible, ma'am?
Yeah, you're audible. You're audible. Can you hear us?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm saying when you make statements like I have an impressive track record, etc., you need to put some statistics or some data to prove it in the buyer return. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
So what did you do? Tell me something. What was your accomplishment in as a business development executive in the current job? You joined in 2020. You're 2 years old, right?
Yes. As of now, as I started as a BDA only in a starting of first stage, but after that, the company was given me for a BDE process execution, and within a 6 months, because of I did my achievement within a 6 months only with the all-time full target. That's why they given me for BDE, and even I get a hike of 35% in my first attempt within a 6 months.
Yeah, but after that, okay. First of all, what you're saying is it is the same company, which is what I asked you in the beginning, but I didn't get that feeling that they are same company. Now you're saying both BDA and BDE in the same company. 2018, you're in the same job, correct? Arson Events Marketing, you're in the same company?
No, sir. That was previously that was not my same company.
Chaitanya, this 2018 to 2019 Business Development Associate, which company were you a BDA in?
So you mentioned that company, and it's on the top is not 2018. You should say 2019. After 19, you joined Assign Business, whenever you joined, right?
Yes.
The way it looks like you were in the same company from July 2018, which is not correct.
Okay, understand.
So separate the two companies. Secondly, if you said you got 35% hike at the end of 6 months. You should mention that, number one. Secondly, you should also mention what did you do the last 2 years. Okay, first 6 months, you did very well. You got promoted to the BDE, right? And they gave you 35% hike. What did you do in the last 2 years? What did you achieve? So you must mention that. Something about I increased the sales. I've achieved so many lakhs of rupees, 3 times my salary. Typically, people are looking for how many times the salary are you achieving sales.
Okay, understand.
The first thing I say, I do 10 times my salary as sale. That's a very good number.
Yes.
So you should bring in some statistics. First, you got increment, got promoted in 6 months. You should highlight that. Secondly, you should highlight the last 2 years, what have you achieved in terms of sales? Because you claim you're an exceptional salesman, right? So you're established. The second part is the previous job. You want to be in a tech space, then again go to the top. Please go up and top. About me, you should also bring out the fact that you are interested in edtech companies, right? Because you're applying for edtech company, right? That I would like in the last line, I would add that I have prior experience in edtech companies and I'm looking for a career in an edtech company. I'll add that last line so that when somebody from Baiju or somebody looks at your resume, hey, he's looking for a job in our company, so we must shortlist. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Whatever you are telling me, whatever you want to tell the other person, please mention in the resume because you are not there. People are watching your resume and deciding, right? So don't hold anything with you which you want to tell them. So you are saying I am very keen to work in a tech company. So mention that in the about me part, last line. Okay.
Okay.
All right, let's go down. Education, intermediate, then degree college, bachelor in business administration. Where is that college? James Degree College, Hyderabad.
Yes, sir. That was in Hyderabad.
Okay, but nowhere it is mentioned there. James, and it's a BBA unit in James College, 2018. And I think Hyderabad should be mentioned because you are in a metro. People give a lot of importance to somebody who studied in a metro. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So you should mention the fact that he's in Hyderabad. And how well did he do in the college?
Sir, I got 93% in my graduation.
So why are you not mentioning that?
I missed out that.
Yeah, mention that.
Yes.
And secondly, change the order. First put James first and the intermediate next.
Yes.
And intermediate in Chaitanya and Chaitanya College, but was it in English medium? Again,
yes, sir, that
English
medium only.
Yeah, please mention the English medium.
Yes.
Okay. Now coming back to skills, go down. Goals and performance, relationship building. How goals and performance is a skill? Who told you it's a skill? Goals and performance is an output, right? It's not a skill.
Yes. By mistake, I was added that one into.
Yeah, please don't add something which is not a skill. The other things are skills. Relationship building is a skill. Then cold calling is a skill. Business development and planning, yes, to certain extent skill. Now these percentages are very risky. Who gave you this percentage? You wrote it yourself, right?
Yes, sir.
So people will ask you, how did you arrive with 90%? How do you know 80%? You will get into unnecessary argument. I will just mention top three skills: relationship building, cold calling, and business. That's all. This percentage is argumentative. People get into argument, or people will say you are making your own assessment. See, any third-party assessment is valuable. Your own assessment is not important.
Okay, understand.
Top three skills you put. That's all, right?
Yes.
Yeah. The marketing intern, not so important because you are BBA at that time, right?
Yes, sir.
Nobody going to take it seriously. I would delete it. It's only one page, right? So otherwise, it's a one-page resume. I think it's a good thing. Make changes in whatever I've told you, and don't highlight the percentage and skills. Make it to top three skills. Bring in the fact that you studied in Hyderabad, English medium, and also put some data and statistics to prove what you claim in terms of achievement, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Any questions?
No, sir. Thank you so much.
Chaitanya doesn't have a question. I have a question for you on this resume.
Right.
You said that the marketing internship is not important, right? But here in the marketing internship, he is mentioning social media posting, right? I just went online and I couldn't find Ambika Biocare anywhere. So I wanted to understand if he puts numbers to this, because he wants to go in edutech sales, right? If he puts number to this, will it be valuable? I increase their followers on social media by these many numbers by posting these many things or something, or I got business from social media.
First and foremost, intern is not a serious stuff. Everybody knows. Right?
Yeah.
And especially if you're a BBA student, everybody thinks that marketing intern is only for the purpose of putting in the resume. If I drill down into what he did in that period, he may not be able to explain. Secondly, it's 5 years away. It's not recent.
Yeah.
That's why I said something is not recent, something which is not very impactful, remove it.
Correct.
But if you're applying for a marketing job, if you're applying for a social media job, then I need to elaborate, but even then they will not value it, but I still put the marketing return and highlight the fact, what did I do in the social media? Like you said, I increased the number of viewership on YouTube. I spent YouTube evaluations. I'm very strong in metrics. Whatever you are strong in, you mentioned that, so that when they ask you a question, you can reply.
Yeah.
But otherwise, for a BDE job in B2B, it is not very important.
Got
Most of them, direct sales job. The direct sales job.
Chaitanya, one more tip. There's a spelling error over here. So I would request you to do a spell check and a spacing check, because there's a spacing error here as well. And then work on whatever points TMD is given, and maybe your resume will turn out well. Do you have any questions, Chaitanya?
No, ma'am, I don't.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I want Chaitanya and others, especially the other gentleman who came, Siddharth, right?
Yeah, Siddharth.
Please give a feedback to Achita later on about what you think about this feedback I'm giving you, right? So Achita, maybe you can do a separate at the end of the call. If they are still there, you can ask for a feedback on. I will leave because they don't want to give feedback in my face. After I leave, maybe you can take a feedback from them. But I would like to hear what they think about my
Definitely. Sir. Okay. The next resume review is of Pooja. Pooja, are you available? Are you online? Can you unmute yourself?
Yes, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes, very loud and clear. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, over to you, TMD.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening. Again, starting with address, phone number, etc. They are not very top priority. So I will not put it on top and waste very crucial time. 15 seconds I have, right? Now, so I would probably not put it so boldly in the top. I'll take it in the bottom. Career objective, I would change it to about me. What we heard earlier, you heard about all of them. I will use the word about me rather than career objective, because we're not sure about where your career is going. You're a fresher, right?
Yes, sir.
And you are a Bachelor of Science, BSc.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You're still in the college now or finished?
Yes, sir, it's completed.
All right. So as a student, as a fresher, I want to start my career with a computer company, a reputed company. I want to prove myself that I'm capable. Can you read out to work with all?
As a fresher, I want to start my career with a reputed company. I want to prove myself that I am capable to do that work and also bring my best in my side to complete my task.
I think you heard so far what I told others, right? Doesn't say anything about you. Please delete this sentence. This is what everybody cuts and pastes. I work hard to your satisfaction. I'll be loyal to you. Nobody reads this. Write something about who you are. Like you heard earlier, right? I talked about that mechanical engineering, right?
Yes.
Look at there, write something about who you are. Can you describe yourself? Who are you? Supposing I asked you, madam, please tell me something about yourself. What will you say?
Sir, I would say about my academic only. Why? Because recently I have completed it, since I have nothing experience about the company. So I would tell more about the academic part only.
No, don't do that, because your academic is not something like IIT, right? It's just an ordinary college, right? You should say something about you. What kind of person are you? What are you interested in? Because you're applying for a job in where? Where are you applying for a job here?
So, sir, I was interested in the learning skills, like technical skills. and I'm working on it. So I would properly say that, and also the communication skills, and I would interact with the team so that.
No. I'm not asking what your skills are. First is you're applying for a job in IT industry, IT is a job in non-IT industry. Like last time, gentleman said, tech is interesting, right? First, make up your mind. What are you applying for? There is nothing like a generic resume. The resume depends on what kind of a job you're applying for.
What kind of a job do you want, Pooja, in the future? What are you looking for?
I'm looking for the software job, man.
Software job.
Yes.
Let's assume that you want a software job, right? What is the first thing relevant qualification I mentioned? I mentioned relevant experience. What is it in this I can make out as relevant qualification or relevant experience? Can you tell me something on this? Programming languages, yes, there's something interesting. Education is not useful at all. BSc doesn't tell me anything about your computer interest, right? Hello?
Yes.
So Pooja,
Your Bachelor of Science in what specialization? Maths or BSc Maths? What is it? BSc in what?
Maths, sir.
BSc in Maths.
Yes.
So you should mention that. Maths is a very important qualification for an IT. Many companies are looking for Maths qualification, not MPCS. You should just say Bachelor of Science in Maths, right?
Okay, sir.
How good are you in Maths? Or it's just a qualification to pass?
Yes, sir. I was not that good, but yes.
Okay. All right. Programming languages, you mentioned Python, SQL, right? So how good are you in that?
Sir, I'm working on it. Like I am taking the coaching for it, for these technical skills. So as far as.
So I think you need to highlight the fact that you're only a learner right now. See, the problem with your resume is neat, well laid out. All this is very good. But if I'm looking for an IT industry, how many people do you think apply for a job in Infosys? 1 lakh, 2 lakh, 3 lakh people?
Yes.
How will they shortlist you? You're a Bachelor of Science in Maths, and you're learning something in the college. There's not much of computer science there. You're learning something off the class, outside the coaching classes you're going through, right?
Rather, firstly, I will apply for a startup, sir, so that I could gain the knowledge, and then with that previous experience, so that it will be useful for me in the reputed companies.
Right. But if you were to go in a startup, even startup requires a specific skill, right? What kind of skills? Because if you talk about, go back and talk, apart from technical skills, because technical skills, I would say platform like HTML, Photoshop will be more useful for a BSc. But if you say you're going to do Python, I will get a lot of people from engineering background and master's background, MTech background in Python available. I would the shortlist, right? So I think you first of all mention who am I? You are a person who is a very diligent person. Something objective about yourself. Very hard. I'm a diligent person, very much interested in a career in a startup in IT industry, because I want to do because of this reason. So you have to write some reason why somebody should shortlist you. Supposing I asked you, Pooja, I am from Infosys. We are hiring people for, let's say, coding jobs. In IT industry itself, there are coding jobs and testing jobs, right? If I were you, I'll apply for a testing job, not for a coding job. The qualification is not adequate. You're competing with 1 lakh people on a coding side, right? On testing side, there are a lot of people who are not interested in testing. So I might say that if I were to ask you, tell me one paragraph as to why I should hire you, you should put that in the first paragraph called about me. You got it?
Yes, sir.
You cannot talk about academic qualifications. There's nothing unique about it.
Yes.
More about you as a person, right?
Yes.
Skill highlights, yes, I'm willing to learn is very good. Motivation, innovation. Again, if I ask you to give you an example, what do you mean by innovation? I'm innovative. Can you give an example? What do you mean by innovative?
Like completing the task in a very creative manner, like innovative way.
Give an example where you did that.
Sir?
give an example where you actually did what you claim to do. You have to give an actual scenario where you did that. Otherwise, it looks like a word, right? Innovative.
Yes, yes, sir.
Yeah. So tell me, what did you do innovatively, either in the college or in school, something very different? Can you please share one experience or one thing you did? Can you share that?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
So, Pooja, what he's asking you is, we need to know what makes you interesting, and he's asking you if there is anything interesting, any project or anything that you've done in your college which is worth mentioning over here. Can you remember anything?
No, Chita, I think the point I'm making is you write a word called innovative. Somebody asks
Anything
you,
innovative.
you need to explain what do you mean by innovative.
What do you mean by
How
innovative?
do you know you're innovative? Because I did this project in this innovative way, then I can understand you're innovative. Otherwise, you're writing some words cut and paste from something else. That's how I think, right? Pooja, you understand what I meant?
Yes, sir. I understood, sir.
Don't
So
put
rather than
anything.
telling in a practical way, I would show that. So the project which I have done in my college is not that which I have taken some work and has explained in a practical way, rather than showing it just in a few
Not
sentences.
just practical, Pooja. When you say innovative, it is something new which has not been done before, right? So when you say
Yes.
innovative, you have to show what is something that you've done differently or something new that you have done.
Yeah, being practical is not innovative. Anyway, that's not the point. Point is, you have to get to the interview stage, right? We are discussing how to make the resume more powerful, right?
Yes, yes.
If you're not able to explain some of them carefully in the resume, put that words. For example, innovative, I would write colon. I will write that in my college project, I was selected as our project was selected as the most unique project that we did. Something like that you have to add to make sure. Otherwise, it looks like empty words. You understand?
Yes, yes.
All right, go back again. Tadepallikudam was it English medium? If it's English medium, mention English medium, both SSLC and this. All right.
Okay.
Telugu medium or English medium?
English mediums.
All right, so mention that. It's very important. Okay, education,
Okay.
wherever English medium is there. And you mentioned 7.89 out of GPA. It's okay. See, what are your parents doing, Pooja?
My father is a teacher, sir. He's a government teacher. And my mother is a homemaker.
Right. See, I would strongly advise you to pick up a qualification. This is not going to take you far. There is a program called MS in IT offered by JNTU, both in Andhra and Telangana. It's an MS course, not very expensive, right? It's ideal for people with BSc Maths kind of background. And
Okay.
it's a 1.5 to 2 years course. Your salary will jump from 8 lakhs, 10 lakhs, 12 lakhs kind of range if you really do. With this qualification, you're not going to get very high salaries. Please understand.
Yes, yes.
So my first job, I will definitely focus on how to get into an MS program. There are MSc program in IITs. You need to get an additional qualification. As it is, this is not going to fly. You understand?
Okay, sir.
You will get some job. You will get some job in Tadepallikudam. You will get some job in Andhra. But you are ambitious, right?
Yes.
You want to go somewhere in life.
Yes, sir.
My advice will be that your resume is okay, but based on the resume, I'm not going to shortlist you for an IT industry. You need a lot more, back it up with a lot more qualification, certification, and increase the resume to show that you are very, very excited about programming or testing. I would apply for a testing job than programming job, because programming requires competition is intense on coding, right? Testing is a very interesting space. So please spend some time reading about IT, what are the jobs that are coming in the IT industry and how can you use your maths background. See, maths background is very useful. You are not like a BBA, right? IT industry might be interested in maths, but if you are weak in maths, then we have a problem. You are not strong in maths, right?
Sir, I'm good at maths. Not that weak.
Tell me, what are the subjects in maths which you are strong in? Which subjects are you strong in? What are the courses did you do?
Sir?
Well,
Hello?
Your strength in maths. What is your strength in maths is what he's asking.
Which courses in maths did you do very well?
Pooja? Are you there? Can't hear you.
Hello.
Yeah. Pooja, can you hear us? No. Maybe some network issue, TMD.
Yeah, all right. Okay. I think I'll conclude by saying, Pooja, I think she's got a good attitude. She's got relatively better communication skills. She's got a lot of very exciting future. But I would strongly advise her to go for an MS or an MSc and something related to IT or maths, and then build a career or look for a job in IT industry. Otherwise, in IT industry, she'll get a very junior job. She may not get selected in coding because she's competing with a lot of people. Then she has to reposition herself as somebody who's very logical, analytical, and that will be useful in testing jobs. Okay, we'll stop there.
Absolutely. So, TMD, before we go ahead with our last candidate for today, I have one question for you. When we get out of school, there are very few people who know exactly what they want to do with their lives, right? Rest of them are confused, right? And then they go to college because, I don't know, parents tell them what to do, or they follow their friends or something, and somehow they land up in college. I'm only talking about the people who don't know what to do. People who have their future set, who have goals set, they know what exactly they want to do, right? How do you expect these people to prepare themselves for the job? Because even when they graduate, they don't know what the job market is like. They don't know what they want to do exactly. So suppose, keeping myself in that place, I wouldn't know what kind of a career objective or what should I write about myself. I can write about my strengths, but if I have to customize it for the job that I'm applying for. I don't know anything about the job. So how should I go about that?
I think first and foremost, I would say, Akshita, when you come to job market, you are not a child anymore.
Correct.
You are an adult.
Yeah.
You cannot say, I don't know this. Nobody told me this. My father didn't tell me this. All this is not possible. The first step, take ownership for figuring out what you want to do. It's your problem. You need to sort it out. Second, there's a large amount of material available on the internet. You know that we are doing a course on how to find the right first job.
Yes.
We've done a lot of videos on this. Like me, a lot of people are talking about it. So I would put on myself the question as to what is the right job for me. And I thought my book is also, the first book is on how to find the right first job. I'm not saying you should buy my book or read my book, but you need to take ownership first, figuring out this. Don't come to the market and say, I don't know what to do. Please guide me, please help me. Employers are not interested in doing all this thing. That will go to somebody else. So I think career counseling, job counseling is a new part which we are trying to do. Some more people are trying to do. So if you spend, let us say, next 1 month doing a lot of video watching, job roles, what are the various job roles, what is the IT industry all about? What kind of, go to job boards and see what jobs are being applied, what jobs are coming into Naukri.com. Then you get a list of 8 jobs. Then you go and see job description of it. Then you find out some of your college mates who have gone and started working in the same job. Talk to your seniors. So it is a research job. You cannot abdicate the role of researching for your own life. All I can say is enough resources are available on the net. And I've also written in the book on how you should expand your network to get answers to some of these questions. What am I good at? How can I find this right job? All these answers, you'll have to get a network and go and ask this question and get the answer.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry, there's no easy answer to this. I can't say, no, you're better, ye karo, those are bullshit. You're an adult because you're getting a salary, you want a salary, you want to build something, you've got to stop thinking like a college kid and start thinking like an adult.
Absolutely agree, TMD. That being said, we'll do the last resume review for the day. Leela, are you there? Can you unmute yourself?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Over to you, sir.
Right? After TI University. Okay, BCom. So what job are you applying for?
Yeah, sir, that is an old one, old resume that I have already completed this BCom, not in a pursuing. I'm just now pursuing MBA.
Pursuing MBA.
Yes, sir.
MBA first year or second year?
First year, sir. Recently, I completed this first semester exams.
So why do you want the resume feedback now? Because what did you do with it? You anyway joined a
Uh,
full-time MBA, right? It's a full-time MBA?
Full time, not, sir, but I am just writing only exams. Uh, I actually want to complete this full time MBA, but due to some family issues, I just shifted to this job career.
No, let
Already,
me
I have
understand. Uh,
already
I
already.
understand. You joined an MBA course and you're discontinuing the MBA course. Is that correct?
No, sir, not discontinuing, but only I just attending an exams only, not going through classes. But I usually manage this syllabus, sir. That's why I choose this way.
So what kind of a job are you applying for?
Sir, I actually interested in this programming language.
Programming language.
When yes, sir, when I'm in +2 level, I had a additional subject as this C++ language. From there onwards, I was interested in this programming language. But after this, I have some family issues. That why I shifted for this job way. When I was pursuing BCom final year, I joined as a accountant. I worked as accountant.
Where have you joined?
I joined at the college, sir, engineering college.
The college itself. Engineering
Yes.
college, accountant in engineering college. Okay.
Yes, sir, as a junior accountant.
Hmm.
I continued that. After this, after 1 year, I was left out and I was in coaching now.
See.
Programming language Python.
Yeah, but you see, the problem is if IT industry were to look at you for programming, again, you are going to compete with about 2.5 lakh people, right?
Yes.
Why should they shortlist you? Python or so you have to really make a case. Objective, you remove it by about me, not about objective, right?
Okay, sir.
Because that is very useless. The things like to enhance my professional skills, all these are very generic content based. Write something about who you are, like what you said just now. I come from a family back, middle class family or a low middle class family.
In my own language.
Pardon?
In my own, sir.
In my own words, you should write who you are. Who is
Okay,
this?
sir.
Suppose somebody asks me, Leela Prasanna, who are you? And tell me why I should hire you for an IT job. So you should
Sir.
bring that essence in that. Secondly, never put a outdated resume. Never. Okay? So you should always have the current resume whenever you share in the job. If you go to an interview and say, sorry, sir, the old resume, they'll ask you to leave. Never make that mistake. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Third is your relevant experience. I said there are 2 questions they will ask you. If you are applying for an IT job, do you have relevant experience and do you have relevant qualification? Now you need to bring that out clearly, right? Where is the relevant other than the fact that I'm interested in IT skills, right? Where is the qualification? Where are the certifications? Computer languages you mentioned, communication and Telugu languages, computer languages, C++. It's just a language, right? You should have some certification. I would also recommend you to look at building a career in accounting-based software. There are a lot of softwares in accounting. You're aware of them, right? Are you using Tally now?
Sir?
Are you using computerized accounting in your college?
Yes, sir.
Which package are you using?
7. Version 7.
Pardon? Which accounting package are you using in college?
7, sir.
7.
7.
Saral. Okay, Saral. Is it Saral? Can you spell it out? SARAL.
Yes. Sir.
Okay. So I think if I were you, I will not look for a job in IT industry with this qualification. You're not going to get shortlisted. You'll be wasting a lot of time. There are a lot of softwares which are running on top of accounting packages, right?
Yes.
Now there is accounting standards. So you have to put a lot of softwares which you have to write on top of the accounting package to extract the information from that. There is something called Power BI. These are applications which run on top of accounting software to extract business intelligence. So if I were you, I would position myself as more, I'm interested and get some qualification and certification on business intelligence and apply for a job in business intelligence rather than programming.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
And rewrite the resume completely, assuming that you say that you're working as a junior accountant now. I'm very keen to specialize in business intelligence. These are the courses I'm doing right now. I want to apply for a BI job. There are Power BI, there are multiple softwares. Pick one or two softwares, go for a training in that.
Okay, sir.
Any questions you have, Leela?
Yeah,
No,
you're
ma'am.
based in Bhadrachalam now, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in Bhadrachalam, you should look for a computer course in business intelligence. And that accounting knowledge is very useful. BCom is useful.
Yes, sir.
Right? Build on that rather than go into Python and all that. Very difficult.
Python and
The computer languages, you are going to compete with very difficult engineers who are a computer science background.
okay, sir.
And things like critical thinking skills you've written there. Do you know what it means?
Yes, sir.
Can you explain to me what is critical thinking?
I can manage in what's it?
Manage in what?
I can manage the things properly, even when it is a that is critical situation. Also, I can manage the things properly.
So I think you're exactly opposite of what is the meaning of that. See, first of all, I told you earlier, Leela, please read what is the meaning of critical thinking. What you said is not critical situations, how to manage is not critical thinking. Okay? Don't write something, cut and paste somebody else's resume. Don't put leadership skills, social media skills. Supposing I asked you, what are the top 3 social media where you got experience? How many hours you spent on social media?
So I can judge a situation, sir.
Oh, that is not called, that's called judgment skills, not critical thinking. Do your exercise. Today, you go back and go online and read what is critical thinking. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Every word here, you should go and read the Google meaning. Google, there are a lot of videos available on critical thinking. What does it mean?
Okay.
You should know that. If you write something which you cannot explain, you're going to get rejected immediately. Okay?
Okay.
The idea is to represent who you are, not what others you want others to think you are.
Okay.
They will find out very quickly. Then you will get very disappointed when you go to the interview and don't get. How many interviews have you attended so far?
Not just one, sir. This is only one, sir.
Pardon?
Have you given any job interviews, Leela?
No, ma'am.
Not yet, TMI.
Right.
Yes.
Fair enough. So I think I would say that go for BI, go back and read about business intelligence, identify the lots of specific software like Power BI, select one software, go for a certification in that, rebuild your resume again as somebody who's interested in business intelligence, and then apply for jobs in business intelligence. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Good.
Thank you, Leela.
Thank you.
Before we close, TMD, I have a question for you. And this is not pertaining only to Leela, it is in general. Okay. People are brought up in places where regional languages are given a lot of importance, right? And when they have to document things in a way, English is the only language in which they can do it, right? How to make that transition smoothly? One is getting help from someone else. But what is the quickest way? Because, okay, today I am ready to take matters into hands. Today I am ready to learn how to, write my own CV, and I want to write my about me very well. But my problem is I don't understand the language. And even if I do, I write a broken language. So what should I do?
No, I think we all went through the same period. We were all not great in maths or English, whatever language. So you find a family friend who's good in English. So sit with that person, explain to that person, ask them to write the right words, write it down, show it to the person. There's a lot of trial and error and repetition you do. But normally what you do, you find a family friend, relative who's good in math, good in English, who can guide you. That's what I would do, right? But I've also went to some cousin, some relative neighbor to teach me something. And we all came like that. Nobody was born with a great English. We all went to Tamil medium school. Up to primary school, I was in Tamil medium. So we all struggled. But the point is, the moment you make up your mind to do this on your own, you will find ways. There are a lot of people there to help you. But you should ask for help. You should make up your mind to chase and get that help and become and take the ownership. Automatically, I believe people will come to help. So start with a relative or a family friend who's good in English to guide you. Second, there are resume sites like ours. There are a lot of material available in job boards like Naukri.com, Indeed.com. They all give a write-up how to make a resume. They give you a lot of guidelines. So you read that and then make the first cut. Then we'll go, like you come here, you'll show me the first cut, then I'll give you some feedback. Again, you go back and improve. It's a continuous process, right? If you're learning physics, for example, nobody can give you a shortcut to learning physics, right? You have to write a book, you have to buy a book, read a book, watch a video. You have to put that energy into it, right? Similarly, resume making or career planning is a serious subject. It's not superficial. It requires that effort. And if you don't put that effort, you will end up in the wrong place.
Absolutely agree, TMD. And with this, we come to an end to this session today. But before we part, everything that we are doing is to help you out, but ultimately you guys have to take your careers into your hands. You guys have to put in the effort, put in the time, put in the research work to bring out the best to support your career. There is a very important saying, quoting TMD, which he's told us, and he keeps repeating that to us, saying, you are the CEO of your own career, right? And I couldn't agree more with him. Unless you take the matters into your own hands, you want to do something, nobody can help you. Even we cannot help you. So hopefully this session was helpful to all of you. I really thank TMD for taking out time on a weekend for this session. And we will see you again in a couple of weeks for the next Friday session. Thank you so much. This will be on a Friday, not on a Sunday. Today was an exception because we had some emergency meetings on Friday when we couldn't cancel.
I think 2 points I want to say. Let them, whoever is listening, let their friends know that we are doing this program, number one.
Absolutely.
And secondly, people should listen to the recording to make some notes on their own resume. So when they come to this program now, people should watch our prior videos and then make some resumes, and then they'll get value out of it. That's all I can say.
Thank you so much, Dave.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.